Run that shit back, Turbo.
Jesus. Where do I begin?
Uh, welcome to Digger number 3. Take number 2. Thankfully,
Hmm.
I caught it about only it was only 5 minutes actually.
Of
Not
course, it happens on my one too. Like
man, we're
it
just
just,
the most unlucky
yeah,
gamers,
it's
dude.
just wow, man. That's crazy.
Anyway, this is one of my probably oldest friends that I still talk to in the community. Oldest as in like he's not old as fuck. Look at him. Oldest as I've known him since
Yeah,
like
now I look 7. I used to look a little bit older.
since like 2013. I think we met.
Yep, 2013 or 2014, I think.
Anyway,
Like early 2014.
this is Yasha, aka Flicker, and I think we're just gonna start off with a quick little introduction and
Hmm.
tell the people who you are, what you do, what you've done.
Okay. So I guess to start it off, TLDR. Uh, right now I am a Counter-Strike player competitively. I'm kind of in between teams right now, but ideally that is what I want to do with my life. Um, and I pretty much have been playing almost since Nick and I met. So, that's like, I don't know, like 4, 5 years, something like that.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, that's a lot of time. Like, wow. Uh, and yeah, so I'm just kind of grinding that out right now. Getting back into streaming a little bit. Um, and yeah, I I came from skating, skateboarding, not ice skating. Um, as great as I would be at spinning in circles. Um, and then I kind of transitioned into trick shotting, uh, which was on PC. Um, and yeah,
So your first one was like what? Black Ops 2 trick shotting, or was it?
MW3.
So what sniper was even viable in MW? I didn't really play MW3.
Uh, it was like the MSR, the L11, and like the Barrett. And I'm forgetting there was one more sniper, the M14, but it was like a DMR, so it barely did any damage.
Were you like
Um,
good? Like, do you like looking back on it? Is there like any video? Is
ah,
there videos of this?
there is, but like it was weird. Like I I've always up until now, like even in skateboarding, it was kind of rare for me to get clips like filmed by other people. Like the way that it works for me now is that like I record my own stuff
Yeah.
because that's a luxury that people have with video games. With skateboarding, it's like the only way you really like get clips of yourself is if you like put your phone down somewhere, and that just like isn't kind of part of the culture. Like you do it for like Instagram clips or whatnot, but like usually you would get like filmed by a friend of yours. Everybody pretty much would have like a filmer in the group, and like you would go that route. But uh I got really into filming like kind of early on in I guess my skating career. And then I just kind of started being the filmer. So I wasn't being filmed that often because I was the one that understood, like angles and you know, being stable with the camera and such. So I was kind of behind the camera more while my friends were in front of it. So even with skating and with trick shotting, I just didn't really get that many clips. Like I stacked them up, but I just never actually like had them edited because I didn't really know that many like good editors and whatnot.
And that was like 6 years ago. So like that, even
Hmm.
like back then, that shit wasn't popping.
Yeah,
Like now,
like
like nowadays, it's so easy. Anyone can record.
right, and like it was I started on a laptop, and so it was like I I got like no frames, so like I was probably getting at least like 50 at the most, and like but I didn't know any better. It's
Right.
it's like console players before it went to 60 FPS, they'd play on 30 FPS, they don't know any better. they come to your house and play on your PC. Or they're like, what? This is a whole new world,
like zooms.
Yeah, yeah. And like, so I just didn't know any better. But the problem is that editors wanted 60 FPS clips.
Yeah.
And I didn't get 60 FPS. So like, and all my clips were like 4:3 too, because I was on a laptop resolution.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it was just, and then I got a PC, and then, things were a little bit better, but I just never got things edited. So there isn't really that much. There's like a couple kind of shitty, like just weird edited things on the internet in places. But a lot of the clips that I had were just kind of lost when I got a new PC and I had already transferred over to CS. So I kind of didn't care about keeping the clips.
So I guess that's a good transition into like CS in general, because that's still where we met.
Mm-hmm.
So did you get like a gaming PC before CS? Is that what like made
I
you?
did. Yeah.
That's what made you get a PC?
Well, I got my first PC was an Alienware X51.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, and was that your first one too?
No.
No, okay. I was like,
I built my.
All right, good. Thank God. So I was like super scared of building my PC, right?
Yeah.
And so I was scrounging, and also like my mom was kind of skeptical at the time, so she was like, like let's just kind of like get something that you can't break, like, because I was like 14, 15 at the time.
She could have bought you a Mac, and things would have been so different.
Yeah, but no, I did my research, but I just didn't want to build it. And so like I wanted something kind of on the cheaper side, and the X51 was like the cheapest, and it was cool looking, but like, I mean, looking back on it, it wasn't.
That's like Alienware now too. Like it looks big and colorful, but it's
exactly.
Don't buy Alienware.
Yeah, please don't. I made a mistake, and I realized it once I wanted to upgrade, and I was like, I can't fit anything in this case. I can't fit like micro ATX stuff in it. Like I just can't. Yeah. And yeah, so I got it a little bit before, actually, because I was getting really into it, and like at the time I kind of like was falling out of touch with my skating friends, who were like essentially like my only friends, because that was where I was at so much. So I was like, and I made a bunch of friends from trickshotting, various ones. Some were into skating as well. Other ones just were into completely different stuff, and like we all just kind of bonded over spinning around really fast and no scoping. And so yeah, like I wanted a stable PC, so I got that. And I, in either 2013 or like early 2014, I'm not sure who. It might have been Dylan, actually.
Like Nachi?
Yeah.
Okay.
He like, I think it was him, got me into CS. Like, I still look back on this to this day, and I try and figure out like when I was introduced to CS and who did it, because like I think that changed my view on gaming forever.
Yeah, same. Which is kind of
from like, just kind of doing it for fun, like just messing around. And I used to be that guy that like would just hate people that use, red guns and such. Like, I'd be like, man, like, why do you take this game so seriously, And then, fast forward now, like that's all I do. Like,
yeah, that's what 90% of CS is.
Yeah.
And in normal play, I should say.
Right. And so like I just love the game. Like I felt a lot of what I felt from trickshotting and skateboarding, in the sense that like I could constantly just get better, and I didn't really plateau. There wasn't really a way to plateau unless you like, I guess, were just insane, from the get-go, and just couldn't improve any further. And that was kind of what kept me playing, was just the fact that I could constantly see improvement and, just grind it out, and it didn't really get old.
It's funny you mentioned like that Dylan got you into CS. You're not really like sure like what like the origin of that one, because we weren't gonna talk about Luke, but Luke is the
Yeah.
one that got me into CS.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if you remember, but me and Luke used to play Minecraft
Yeah.
together, making
Hmm.
Minecraft videos
Yep.
together. So I guess Luke is like the OG. Sorry,
Hmm.
you were dethroned as the OG. Luke's the new
No, yeah,
OG.
no. I remember you guys used to literally go everywhere together. Like I
He
remember,
was the OG. He was my OG
yeah.
duo.
No,
Me and
I
Luke.
remember like you guys would hop teams together. Like if you went somewhere, Luke was going with, and vice versa. Like it,
Yeah.
you were unseparated.
In like January of 2013. So this is before like skins came out too.
Mm.
He hit me up. And he's like, "Yo, there's this sick new FPS game called Counter Strike Global Offensive on Steam." I didn't have a Steam account at the time,
Oh,
and he's like, "You should buy it." So I got it, and we didn't play comp for like 6 months. We played casual only. There's videos on his channel. I don't know if they're still there of us playing casual, and we're
dude.
like trying so hard.
And you're like, what is going on?
And
Like,
it's casual, so it's
yeah,
10v10
yeah.
like Dust 2 only.
Jesus,
And we're so bad, but
that's crazy. Yeah, I like, I actually, I'm pretty sure the first game I ever played on PC was like TF2, or no, it wasn't TF2. It was like, I think. Have you ever heard of Soldier Front?
that sounds familiar.
I was playing Soldier Front and AVA, Alliance of Valiant Arms,
That's
and
is
it
that
was,
was that the one that Skadoodle played?
I think, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually. And the reason was all I actually going back to MW3, and this is why I got it, was like at the time my parents really weren't down with like shooters in general. So like pretty much I was, like my uncle would buy me games for my DS back when I had that, and like he would only buy me, like kind of like fantasy-esque games because he could get it past them because it was like not super violent,
Right. Yeah.
and so he got me like Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, um for the DS, which was surprisingly really good. And he also got me Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
which also was really good for a DS port. It was
I've actually heard
crazy.
that. I heard that about
Hmm.
Metal Gear Solid.
Hmm.
That they make really good ports for like
Yeah, it was
handhelds.
really really good. And I've watched through the game on like a normal console, and it was almost one for one. Like it obviously looked a little worse, but
Yeah.
they didn't really have to cut that much. But yeah, I couldn't really get them to like let me use money to buy games that weren't, kind of good in their eyes. So before, I had my own like credit card and such when I got older, and by that point they didn't really care. But when I would get something, I would have to go through them and be like, hey, can I borrow your credit card to buy this game? They'd be like, all right, what kind of game is it? And I'd be like, it's this type of game. It's not too bad, like there's
No.
not that bad. There's not that many guns, like, and so the trick was with free to play games, I didn't have to ask them shit. I would just download it, then I would just play.
Was TF2 free back then?
Yeah, yeah. And so like, but here's the thing. So I was playing AVA and I was playing Soldier Front. Now I was playing Soldier Front first, and my friend from school was like, "Hey, you should check out AVA. It's like pretty similar to Soldier Front." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I checked it out because it was free, and I didn't have to ask my mom to add her credit card info. And there was like barely any way, because at this time I didn't realize that you could add funds, like and not show the purchase. So like I would buy the game straight up with the like credit card, so it would show up on the credit card as like he bought COD or he bought,
Mm, yeah.
but if you buy just the credits or just like the Steam funds, it would just be like, hey, he bought $60 of Steam funds. So then I could buy whatever I wanted with it. And I learned that later, but at this point I didn't know that. Now we'll get onto that in a
Pro
little bit.
tip for you underage fans out there:
Mm-hmm.
but steal your mom's credit card and use Steam funds.
Mm-hmm. Put like $200 on that bitch. Just don't.
Fat dude. What did you buy? I bought a Call of Duty box 4. All right, bet Michael. Good job.
Yeah, like so I was just playing these games, and then eventually he's like, "Hey, dude, I've been playing this new game. It's called TF2," and I'm like, "Okay, let me check it out." And it was so cartoony, and like I was like, like I'm not really. This is kind of odd, man. Like it's kind of not really fucking with this. And he's like, "Hey, man, just try it out, all right?" And yeah, so we played that, and then so that was like my first Source engine game, and that was fun. And then I transitioned over to like trickshotting and such, and then back to CS. Um, but yeah, like I would just I got when I got MW3, that was the point where I realized that I could just buy the credits, and for some reason I just was drawn to MW3, so I bought that, and it was on sale for like like $30 or something.
Yeah.
So I buy that, and it runs like pure dog shit on my laptop. But I was just loving it because I was like, oh my god, like all my friends have been playing COD all these years on their Xboxes and such, and now I can finally play a COD game. I can't play with them, but like I can play the game,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I loved playing that. But the thing is, like I had to like alt tab whenever my mom would come in because like
You're all
if
time
she
and
saw
like show porn. You're like, oh, I'm just beating my meat.
yeah, like
You'd
but, like, dude,
you'd rather see you watch
yeah.
porn than play
Yeah, like
WB3.
yeah. So like I would just alt tab, like I would hear, because that was when I was upstairs in my old room, and the stairs are like pretty easy to hear, and so I would just hear the stairs, and I'd just like alt tab and just make sure they weren't coming in my room, wait for them to go away, and then I would just get back to it. But like I remember this one time, like I was going for like a nuke with 50 FPS. I don't know how I thought that was gonna work, or a Moab they were called actually. And I was like super close, and like this was the point where I wasn't really into like sweating, I guess. Like I just kind of sniped, but I just felt like I was just running around with an MP7, and I like almost got a Moab. I was at like 15 kills or something, and I hear my mom coming up the stairs. I'm like, no, mom, come on, not right now. So I had to like tab out in the corner, and like I tab back in, and like I'm like, oh my god, I'm alive. Fuck yeah. So I get back to it, and I just like died in some bullshit way, like a just knife lunge or something, and I was so pissed.
She ruined the vibe.
Yeah, like
bad vibes, man, all around.
I was so sad. I was like, God, man, like why right now? Like
Dude, it's just funny that like your mom was like super anti FPS because my parents didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I hated it because all my friends' parents really didn't care as long as like they weren't like trying to shoot up a school or something stupid like that. Like and my parents, like they're great people, so like I understand it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, once I got into CS, and like they were actually cool with trick shotting. At least my mom was like, because you're not really doing it for the kills, you're just kind of doing it for the technique. So it was like skating. So that was how I justified it.
You can't trick shot in real life, so
yeah. So yeah, and then as soon as I got into CS, she was also kind of skeptical. But by that point, like I was so much older that she was kind of past the point of trying to like control what I played and whatnot. Yeah. And she knows I'm a good kid, so I'm not gonna like do anything reckless with firearms.
Hopefully not. That wouldn't be good.
But yeah, once I explained like all the strategy and like all the mind games and stuff that are involved, like she kind of got it, that it wasn't just like, oh, I'm playing this game like just to kill people, like because I enjoy simulated murder, and at that point, she's still like not a fan of it, but like
I mean, neither am I, but they know I'm not gonna fucking do dumb shit.
But they're not super against it, and they support my competing and such. They just want me to not give up on everything else until I've found success,
which is smart. But I mean,
which they taught me well.
Yeah.
I already kind of have that mindset, but I'm still gonna go after this shit until I can't.
I mean, my dad still plays Apex Legends,
Yeah,
so
I think that's so hilarious, dude.
I want to stream with him so bad, but he's not very TOS friendly.
Yeah, yeah.
He play
Did you see? Did you see that like clip not too long
oh
ago of the guy with the gun?
the
Like
guy
his dad.
what?
Yeah, like this guy like brought his dad. Or he went AFK and his dad came into his room and like heard his friends talking on his headphones. So he put the headphones on and he thought it was like a video call. He didn't realize he was streaming. And so he whipped his Glock out, like just as a joke, like, you know, because they were like laughing about something that he said. And he's like, oh, like, you know, he was just joking around, like wasn't actually like meaning to do anything harmful, but it was on stream, obviously. So if you're brandishing a weapon, it doesn't matter what, they're going to ban you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like his dad had no idea. And then he comes back, obviously, and like his chat's exploding. Like, your dad just like held us up. Like, what's going on? And yeah, like,
there's a bunch of mocking guns in the chat.
And so then I watched this video. I watched this video of this dude trying to explain like his dad didn't mean any harm and that he feels like it wasn't unfair. It was pretty unfair that like he got banned, and I don't know what happened to him. I didn't like follow the story.
He's still banned.
Yeah, he's probably still banned. But like, yeah, I felt so bad for him because like he linked a bunch of other things where like people had straight up brandished weapons and they weren't banned. I was just like, damn, I feel for this dude. Like
That's a whole other subject with Twitch.
Yeah. That shit's crazy, man.
One of my homies got banned for like a month. Did you see that? I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Vorix? Yeah. He was streaming, just like he was going to like the fucking directory, I guess.
Right.
And he just clicked on a stream. He's like, whatever. And he left that stream. His viewers went to that stream and just talking mad shit, and he got banned for it.
Dude, that's crazy. Like,
Dude, like, just I don't even know what to
they're
say.
They're starting to do something similar like that on YouTube too.
Oh yeah, so if your comments are bad,
Yeah, if there's comments that are bad, yeah. Like,
I'm watching it.
Yeah, please be nice. Just, you know, put some nice copy pastas under this. You know, don't be too mean.
Bless. I'm gonna. Yeah, that probably brings us to when we met, because we talked about this before the podcast started. We try to remember when we first met, and we don't really have like a good timetable of when we met, but it had to be in this. I'm gonna assume it was this thing called 10 Mans, which is kind of like 8s or in the console games, where you just two captains pick players and you play.
It's like pick up like basketball or something. You just pick people and you play.
And I don't know why we like became in like instant friends. I think because me and Yasha are honest to God assholes, and we pick on people.
Yeah.
So I think Pat might have helped us out.
Oh God, Pat, dude, that's a whole. I have a pretty wild story that it might be a little too much for the podcast, but
we'll see. Me and Yasha just like to roast people, especially in video games. Like if you,
and especially if they're like goobers and they think they're smart or something, you know, like and they just really just it's not it. They get the most flame from us.
Like normal people are like, he's trying his best, he's having fun, just let him rock.
Like, idiot.
Me and Yasha are just like, boy, if you don't fucking pick him in like a real man, I swear to God.
God, man, Pat, dude, that's. Yeah, I think we were roasting Pat all the time, dude.
And like we like roast people, and if they like dish it back, we're like, okay, and that was like how like Rob. That's why I liked Rob.
God, man.
But I think what was our first team? Do you remember the first team? I don't want to bring up ESCA because I don't remember my password.
I'll pull it up right now. Hold on.
It had to be me, Luke, and you. It had to be because the interactions. I do want to talk about Luke because if I do get Luke on this podcast, I want to get the other side of this.
I found it, dude.
What is it?
It's lit.
Okay.
You remember that?
No, I remember the team name.
Oh, dude.
Wait. Was there a date on it?
Let's see,
That,
roster history.
that's probably like a match listing on
Uh,
Scrim.
oh, dude, this is crazy. Tins, I forgot about Tins. The first person joined the roster in December of 2015.
So that was the first team we run together.
Yep. And I feel like after that, a lot of the teams that we were on were like preseason teams. Like we didn't actually like play seasons.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like here, let me actually look. I think it was that because there was a lot of those. There was like we had all kinds of roster troubles. There was like, you know, people that just were god awful. And
To this day, if I had a set team that weren't a bunch of assholes, I could have been fucking in main. I swear to
Yep.
God.
No, dude, I'm telling you, it is 100% just all connections. Like I know people right now who I won't name that are really not deserving of where they are, but they know people, and that's all it is. It's really all it is.
If I had if someone hit me up right now and said, "Hey, I need one for open," I'm playing right now. I fucking love even though I don't play anymore. Really, I just love CS that much. But I'm like, I'm gonna try again. But let's backtrack one quick. I did want to talk about Luke and you still. If you don't know who Luke is, I'll get him on the podcast. But he's, like I said earlier, he's one of my best friends. I don't know what the fuck he does now. But
he frats, dude.
The interactions between you and Luke. I said earlier that Yashi likes to roast people. Just
we
so often, dude.
Yeah, that man, I don't know, like we had a talk about this not too long ago where he like essentially admitted that like he was in the wrong and like he was just a douche at that time.
He was.
Because it was just such a struggle. Like I'm the type of person I guess for those that don't know who I am, like I'm the type of person in a team setting that I will help you improve as long as you listen to what I'm saying. And as soon as you try and, like argue with me or anything, like I'm not going to help you anymore. Like I don't want to spend my effort on someone like that because it's like talking to a brick wall essentially. And he was
the most solid brick wall.
It was anything. It could be anything. Everyone on the roster could see him make a mistake and be like, yeah, man, like you made that mistake after I called it out. And he'd be like, no, dude, like there would just be some excuse. And I just could not stand it. And like, I would just cook him at any chance that I got.
Bro, there was times where like we would still be on the team, but you and Luke wouldn't talk to each other.
Yeah.
You would both mid scrim. Like Luke would message me on Steam, you would message me on Steam, and I'm like just sending messages back and forth like this. And as a mediator, like mid scrim, like Luke would be like,
I remember
this Yasha motherfucker, and then he'd be like, Luke really needs to like flash out at apps a lot more. I'm like, dude, I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when it comes to me, at least in a team setting, like the things that annoy me are mainly just like gameplay things. Like I feel like you can have an odd personality that I don't like, but you can be a good teammate still. So like the things that would annoy me would just be, like he would just like, give up on certain rounds or whatnot. That was what bothered me. And like he thought that like I was just like an egotistical, like just asshat that knew nothing about what I was talking about, or like, and so he just thought I was like giving him shit for fun. When really I was just like, please, man, like I just want to help you.
I beg you. It's been 2 days since we won any type of scrim. Just please, I beg you.
Just please throw the flash, dude. Please. The frags aren't worth it. Yeah, it was a crazy time.
The only time that I've seen you actually like bond is that play on Mirage that Luke made.
Yeah.
That was the only time I thought, okay, Nick can still be friends, because that motherfucker. Was that a league match?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
This man has like 150 ping. And if you don't know what that means for your console gamers out there, shout out to you boys. It's when you like stutter around and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm the best IGL and open to ever exist.
Oh god, dude.
I'm like Luke, just fly out halls, like fly out a halls on Palace. There's we can't do shit.
I have the clip of it, and I'll send it to you, and maybe you can like overlay it. But just to put it into words, like we he had internet problems like earlier in the day, and he was pugging, which is just like 5v5, just you queue up just like any matchmaking system.
It's like rank play, basically.
And he had been like lagging a little bit, and then he said it fixed, but he was messaging us the whole time like, hey, you might have to get someone else, like I'm lagging out and it's not going to work in the match, obviously. And we're like, all right, cool, just see if it gets figured out, because the problem was that with all of our teams we never had like an actual backup. So if someone had issues, like,
our backup, I think it was Chris.
Was
my friend Chris.
Yeah.
And he hated ENCA.
Yeah, he didn't really want to play. So like, unless we really needed him, like he wasn't ever on either. Like when we needed him, he wasn't on anyways. So like, so he's like, yeah, things are kind of sketchy. We're like, no, it's fine. Like just try and figure it out before game time. And usually like scrims and matches are around like like 9 Central to like maybe 11 Central are usually like the times, a little bit earlier sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, he had all day to kind of figure it out, and he's like, hey, it's fixed, guys, we're good. So we queue in, we get in like literally first round, he boosts to 150 ping and is just teleporting around the map.
Like useless. And, he can't
do
anything.
Like he can't do anything. Like sometimes if you're lagging, like back in the day, before they forced it, there was these things called rates, and if you messed up your rates, you could like skip around corners and like just fly on people,
and they couldn't like hit you fast enough.
They couldn't hit you. You just appear. Like the best way I can put it is like a tracer blink. If everybody knows what tracer does, it was like that, but like in Counter-Strike. So there's no abilities, obviously, and like people would just do that to gain an advantage, and eventually they patched it out. But like, so it forced whatever tick rate they wanted you to be using. But yeah, so he couldn't do anything. It wasn't like he had an advantage. He was completely at a disadvantage. But people couldn't hit him, and he couldn't hit them. So like,
it was like,
so it was just a toss up. And basically, we were really bummed out. And like Nick eventually just goes.
I want to say Luke was good at the game. Like when he actually so like him like having problems actually like kind of fucked us up.
Yeah, and it was us three, like me, you, and Luke were the fraggers on the team. Like I think was it Rob?
It had to be Rob
as well. Yeah, and like Rob didn't really care about the game at that point that much, and I don't remember who our last was. But yeah, so like we were the three ones that like were really like gonna decide if a map was won or not.
Right. Like if we had to like be positive or like getting double-digit kills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we get to like third round, and Nick's like really just pissed off at this point, and he just goes, Luke, someone buy Luke an SMG. You're going out halls. Luke's like, all right. And we run out of freeze time. He flies out halls.
I mean, like, just blind.
Just literally doesn't clear anything. Just jumps out onto site, nails some kid with a Mac 10, which against a full armor, by the way, which does not really happen.
It's like using a pistol against a brick wall.
Yeah, and he just nails this kid. Flies out, just keeps holding W, because we told him you cannot like try and peek things like accurately. You just need to fly. And he gets 2 entries and like dies and just like screams like, I'm nuts, dude. And like that entirely turned around the game. And I'm pretty sure we won that game off of like, yeah. And like, I have the clip of it where he just flies out. It's actually funny because I had clutched the round previously, and that's where the clip starts. And then right at the very end before it cuts off, he flies out and gets the kill. He's like, I'm nuts, dude. And I never realized that was in the clip. But yeah, so we got that clutch, and then we're like, all right, if we're gonna win like without just having to clutch every round, Luke has to fly out and just be a speed demon, and that he did.
Yeah, I mean
that was wild.
We didn't win very often, but
yeah, it was
back then it was
it was we
We
kind of.
won so many scrims though,
Yeah,
but
dude.
come match time, it was I don't
Yeah,
know what
no,
happened.
it was a long. The one thing, if I could come up with one thing that Nick and I guess can carry through from our time together in CS is 90% of the time we were the two people that were putting in like the most effort in terms of like watching demos or like coming up with strats and stuff like or watching our teammates and trying to work on their game. We were the ones putting in the most time, and we usually got like not that much out of it. Like we would like tell our teammates how to fix it, and then they just fuck it up again. Like,
Because like I had an IGL like every team,
yep.
so like I don't know.
Because I like I said earlier, like I will help you improve, but like I I just don't I just don't have the mental capacity to try and IGL when people like don't have confidence or when they don't listen. Like I just instantly shut down. So I would help with calls for Nick, but like I couldn't
Like
I couldn't do it full time.
for people that don't compete, like managing 5 people like against another team of 5 people while you're trying to play good is super hard.
Right.
And as more like fucking humble brag, like trying to like be like the fragger, the killer of demons that I was while trying to IGL was rough times.
It was
Because
not
the teams that I didn't IGL on, bro, it was just
no, it was horrible.
it was there was one team, the last team I tried out for before I switched to Halo. We scrimmed Cobble twice. No OTs. I got like 80 kills over 2 maps without OT over 2
No,
scrims.
you were nuts, but you just
and I got dropped.
yep.
And that's why
Dude,
that's why I went to Halo.
yeah.
If
I
I
remember you. I remember you messaging me, and this was the time where I was like starting to kind of get like decent teams.
because we weren't teaming at that point.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah,
me and Luke.
and I had like taken a little break or something, and then I was starting to like finally get some teams that I felt like I actually had like-minded individuals, because up until that point, like it was literally just Nick and I would pretty much hop teams together, and he was like usually the only person I could rely on in terms of like mindset. And yeah, and you like messaged me and you're like, yeah, man, like I just got dropped after dropping like 80 kills over 2 maps. I'm going to Halo. And I was like, wait, you're kidding, right? And you're like, no, I'll see you later. And like you didn't log in for like a week, and I thought you died or something. I was like, dude, holy shit! Like
Because we were fucking scrimming train, right? Or not scrimming train. We were doing like a practice on train, like
right.
going over strats. I'm the best fucking T-side train strat caller ever assembled. And we were doing it over smokes, and they're like, "Hey, let's use 3 smokes. No, it was 4 smokes at the start of the round." I'm like, "Well, if you get bombed down, like we only have 1 smoke post plant. Like, so like what are we gonna do here?" I'm like, "We could throw these 3 smokes. And smokes the exact same shit. Uses 1 less smoke. And we'll have 2 smokes post plant, and that's like an instant round win if he slay out slate." And they're like, "Listen, if we use 4, we're gonna get." Wait, there's no way that 1 misses. I go, just don't miss your smoke. Like in CS, like you can literally line up a smoke and push 1 button, and you hit it every time. Like, no, we're just use 4 so we don't fuck it up. I go, just use 3. And
Dude.
then I was in my college dorm room and I'm screaming on the mic. Like I've never gotten not mad over a video game because I'm literally screaming, and then I'm like, nah, I can't do it. I basically dropped myself. I'm like, I can't do it.
Dude, I remember like leading up to that too. You were like, yeah, this team, like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm pretty sure actually, if I remember correctly, you messaged me. You're like, yeah, so like all our bullshit team experiences. I'm like, yeah. You're like, yeah, just multiply that by like 10, and
They
that's
were
what this
so
is.
good, like mechanically too.
Yeah.
But the brain cells just weren't.
No,
there.
that's a big thing that I don't know if it's the same in like like slaying type console FPS like competitive games, but like for those that don't know, at least in NA, there's a big problem where players don't understand the importance of like brain type play, like mental, mind games and such, that like they just focus entirely on their aim and they think it's going to carry them all the way through their career, and then it doesn't, because it's very easy to replace a gunner. It's not very easy to replace a brain, and people don't really understand that. So then they farm their way up, and then they get to a point where people don't want to play with them because they don't have a brain.
And they got to that point where they have such like an ego from their aim.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the plateau that they hit.
Yep. And they never like are able to just swallow that and be like, all right, cool. Like teach me how to, it's very easy, like it. I don't know why people have such crazy egos that they just let that stop them from progressing in their career. It's wild.
I don't know. Just if you're listening to this and you're trying to compete, because I know a couple people that listen to the podcast want to get into competitive gaming, be humble as fuck and like try to like actively like learn from people that have been there before, like,
and make mistakes. People are really scared to make mistakes, and that's the best way that you can learn. Like, and admit your mistakes as well. That's another big thing, especially if you're on a team with me. Is please God, just admit your mistake, and I won't even be mad. Like at least we can work off that. But people they're scared to like just be like, hey man, my bad. They have to blame it on something, and it's usually not themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a perfect player by any means, but
yeah, but
my CT side calling was dog shit because I didn't really know what to do. But my T side train is my favorite thing to play in CS. T side train. I don't know why. It's just so I love popping on a ladder and entering on A is the best feeling in the world for me, at least.
That's true. I would always just get like nade spammed or something, like just coming out. I would always just go Ivy.
See, I just don't care. I'm just like,
no. I would just that was my thing, because I was like, we were so just fundamentally needed to win rounds on all of our teams. So like I just didn't want to die fast, because I didn't want to watch my teammates just not talk to each other and like just lose rounds for free. And I also just like, I don't know, maybe it comes from being like coming from skateboarding, which is a very solo sport, like where everything that you do wrong, you fix yourself. And that's why I really enjoyed I enjoyed Quake a lot, because like you could really improve yourself, and that was the only person you had to blame, really. But yeah, like I like team games, but at the same time, a lot of people don't have like the team mindset, so they won't admit their mistakes, and that's really bad for teams, because everybody has this mental block, and they don't want to like talk about their differences and whatnot.
The big difference between, because I've competed in both console and PC games.
Yeah. The
biggest difference between the two is that on console, like all the matches, you do like a listen in, and it's just constant talking. You're respawning, like you're off. It's so hard to tell like what your teammates are doing until you watch like the video back. Right. But in games like CS, like you die in a round, and you have to watch your teammate just lose the round for you, and it's so just hair-pullingly frustrating.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, like, you can. That's the worst part about it is, in higher level CS, like people kind of understand for the most part what they need to do to win a round and what avenues they need to take, but especially when you're a better player playing with worse players, watching them lose rounds and trying not to just yell into your mic, like do this, like throw a flash, like smoke the bomb, like just all these things. There was times that both Nick and I would start yelling at the exact same time, the exact same thing. And then like, they just wouldn't know what to do. They'd be like flustered. And it's like, what? Like, how do you...
The Steam messaging integration is the best thing anyone has ever...
It's so beautiful. You like the amount of just shit talk that happens in there is insane.
It's like, bad, dude.
No, it gets to a point where like, if you've been playing long enough that people are talking shit about you. Like,
bro, there's times when like I'm coaching, like I'm playing
Mhm.
CS, and then
And you're wondering what.
I hear someone's keyboard clacking, and I go, "Fuck." They're typing some bullshit in the Steam messages right
No,
now.
dude. I like sometimes I'll be wondering like if I like fuck up a flash or something, I'll be like, what are they typing about right now? Because most people, uh, for the console listeners, most people at least in CS and I'd say in Siege as well, people use push to talk. So you don't hear them typing or like anything else. But once in a while, people will not use push to talk, and so then you can just hear just everything.
Dude, I'm the king of accident. Like, because like the way I'll talk about this in another podcast, but the way I play is super scuffed. My push to talk key is really easy to
I hate it.
it's easy to leave on just because like I'm fat fingering it.
Mm,
So I'm king of like playing and like, oh, one stop cat, and just go okay, and then my key go, and then I'm muted.
yeah,
There's always that one little taste of just
yeah.
I'm pissed.
I remember it would happen all the time where like you would rage like off mic thinking you did it, but like you'd be like, one's up cat, fuck, and like you would try and mute it like right before you just yelled, but you wouldn't, and like it would just I would be like playing the round just trying not to laugh my ass off because like it was so obvious that you didn't know because like you just let it all out, like you just be like you'd be like, one's up cat, and then as soon as you stop that you'd be like, god, like fuck, and you just be like, oh, he doesn't know, I'm not gonna say anything, like he might rip my head off.
I mean, I wouldn't care
Yeah,
if it was
but it was just
if it was like
it
Corey.
was so funny. Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, Corey.
I'm not.
Man.
I don't want to talk about him.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna keep that to ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
before
Corey.
we leave CS, that whole topic of CS, I want to talk about one more thing. Me and Kev talked about this in our podcast.
Mm.
When you coached me and Kev's team, we talked about our side of the story, but I want a fresh canvas of how you
dude,
felt about
dude.
that.
I, I. It's one thing watching my teammates while I'm playing the game, but I had never, at least actually no, I had for a short while I had coached what later became my team for a season in Maine with one of my great friends, Mikey.
If you don't know what main
Um,
is, like it's like like you there's the first division, second division, third division. That's main. So
yeah.
you have to
So
you have to get through a couple
yeah.
tiers.
So previously, before they added another division, Maine was like semi-pro, and then you had Premier, which was like you could usually be considered pro at least because you were getting salaried.
The top
And then
premier
there
teams
was
were the top premier teams were
yeah
salaried. Yeah.
yeah, and then you had Invite, which that's like
Your Cloud Nines, your CLGs.
yeah, that's where all like the big orgs would be, and then a couple orgs would be in Premier, and then it would usually be Premier teams that were going to be moved up that would be contracted pretty heavily, and then they added Advanced in between Main and
which
Premier,
is
which
weird. I don't
yeah,
like that stuff.
which became, and I have a funny little quip about that. Hold on, so now Premier became MDL, Mountain Dew League, which is
Hell yeah,
like the name
brother.
says. They sponsor that, and it's the same thing. And yeah, so Advance popped up, and you weren't around for this, Nick, but a lot of main teams were getting moved up to Advance because it's a brand new division, and there was nobody in the division, obviously, because it had just appeared. So they were bringing main teams into main and like really high IM teams, which is intermediate, into advanced to try and fill up slots. And people were going into advanced and saying that people didn't have enough experience in a brand new division that had no experience possible. It was the first season, and they were still like, yeah, I don't know, man, this guy just doesn't really have enough experience. Like, what you? It's a brand new division, dog. Like, you can't. There's no experience to be had. It's oh, I played MDL, or oh, I played main.
No,
In between that,
there's nothing else. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, that was crazy. But anyways, so I had coached Mikey's team, not like officially, but I was just kind of helping them because at the time I was kind of getting fucked out of a roster spot like repeatedly, and like I was kind of just, I don't know, I was a little bit blinded, and I thought that I was going to get a spot eventually, which I did, but uh, I was just kind of helping out and just seeing if I could see anything, and helping people. But the thing is, there I had played with all the players, and I trusted their ability and, like, you know, their consciousness of where they needed to be, what they needed to do for the most part. I was just kind of pointing out like simple stuff that maybe you wouldn't notice in game, you know, like after plants and such. Um, and that was fine. You know, I felt like that was a real coaching experience. And then,
I'm
and then next,
I will say the only good thing to come out of that was you meeting Kev.
yeah, that's for sure. And then, yeah, so I was just kind of like, you know, chilling. And then Nick's like, hey, dude, I'm playing open with some Halo buddies. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll come and just like go coach. And what that means.
I will say I begged you to coach. Let's not leave
Yeah.
some. I was like,
Yeah.
I scrimmed. I did like a week of scrims. I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, and see, to this day, you know, he just needs to. We need to call each other in when it comes to CS because we just need to save it. It's crazy. But yeah, like he calls me in, and basically the way that that coaching works in CS and on ESEA, which is like the main competitive
Platform.
league, yeah, is you have like coach slots. So, you know, you join a server, everybody readies up, and then you type, instead of .ready, you type .coach, or you type .ready and then .coach or something like that. So when I say coaching, I don't necessarily mean, you know, like I signed up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to coach you guys. Like, we're going to get to the major, you know, but I was just there kind of like trying to point out problems.
There was a few problems.
Yeah, there's a couple. Basically, to put it bluntly, like half the roster like didn't really want to be there. They wanted to go play Halo, but they were like delusional in the sense that they like thought they wanted to get better at CS and like really grind out the game, but they weren't putting in any hours. Like they weren't doing anything, and it wasn't even like a mental block. Like literally, I would be there, we'd finish scrims, and two of them would just disconnect and go play Halo.
I mean, like it was like,
yeah, literally like
defeat. All right.
Yeah, all right, see you guys. Like, and then they wouldn't even wait for like, oh, later, dude. Like it would just be like, dun, and they'd just be gone. And you're like, oh, all right, like cool. And the funniest part about that is like, that's usually the best time to improve with your team, is to try and point out things that you can improve on next scrim session. But they would just vanish, and then they'd ask me later and like message me and be like, "Hey, dude, so do you see any?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I talked to the whole team, but you left."
Bro, the amount of times we scrim Mirage, I hate Mirage now just because of how many times we scrimmed it. And
Yeah,
the same shit would happen.
it was a yikes, dude, and it. I remember you would message me and be like, "Dude, like, what are you seeing? Like, what is going on? Like, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" And I'm like, "This is pretty bad, dude."
I'm like, am I wrong? Like saying that? And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
And you're like, no.
Like, no, it's by far completely. It was AIDS, dude. And see, the thing is, I didn't really know Realize G that much, but I actually do. I still fuck with Paulie heavily. He's a really cool dude. But
Kev said the same thing.
yeah, but Paulie playing CS, not the homie. It was bad. It was weird because like he would actually hit me up in a very like good way in terms of like trying to improve, but then he wouldn't really apply anything that I said, which is fine. You know, like he wasn't really that invested in the game. It's fine.
He did. He did IGL. He did IGL on that team.
Yeah,
which did firm me up a lot.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
But yeah, like so he was kind of asking me like IGL tips, which even though I haven't officially IGL'd, like I understand how to do it. It's mainly just that I don't want to do it because the teams that I play on wouldn't listen, and that would just really screw up my mental, and I would not be able to play to my full ability. So yeah, I was just helping him, and then I don't actually know what happened like specifically, but the team just died like one day.
You joined like a Halo team, and it was right before a big Halo event. So
I
you went through that,
remember. I think it happened kind of gradually too. Like I remember he didn't show up, and then I was scrimming with you guys.
which is
Uh,
weird in the first place, but
yeah, I was just like you were just like, hey, like you want to scrim? Like we need one.
some practice. We need
Yeah,
to get
and I was
some
like,
practice.
yeah, sure. Like, I mean, it's open. Like, I can try and give a little bit of input while playing and still probably do okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then like eventually he just like didn't ever come back, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
There's actually
Kev started some shit like his personally that he
yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
pursue. I think
mm,
Polly wasn't really feeling it, so it was just me kind of.
yeah.
It was me and we got Archpaul for a little bit.
Oh man,
You mean you team with him?
wow,
You team with him, so you
I
can.
did. No, no, no. That's the thing. I was like, Archpaul was like the least brain dead. Like, I can make this work. Uh,
Damn, that's
and
surprising.
no. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And whew, that was one of my biggest mistakes. Not honestly, not so much because of him. It was more so the people that he had teamed with that really like it was bad. Like
Do you talk to any of those guys?
no,
No.
not at all.
But
It was too.
do you know what they do anymore? Like, do you have any like?
They're still just trucking it, and I am just pulling shit records. When I joined, they had just moved up from open, like on just a whim. Like they just got really lucky. Like this was the time where like a lot of like teams were just getting moved up, even with like really bad records,
Oh, I remember.
because they just wanted to kind of fatten up IM. And yeah, so they moved up, and then Archpaul joined, and he's like, "Hey, dude, like, we need a player, and you're not like playing on any teams right now. You want to just like join up for a little bit? Like, it should be pretty chill." I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Oh yeah, like I have two people that have played since like 1.6." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, that might be fun actually. Like, maybe they are kind of smart." Because usually, just for reference for anyone that doesn't understand this, 1.6 came out in 2000, and it was the first Counter Strike. It was a Half-Life mod for Half-Life One, and that's where CS began. And so that's a long time ago. So these guys were 30 years old,
Grown
and
ass men.
mhm. And that would make you think, oh, they've played since then. They have to be at least half decent the game. Well, that wasn't the case. And one of them was actually cool. I liked him. He wasn't good, but he had a good
That's the worst. You're just kind of like.
yeah, like but he had a good head on his shoulders and was able to. This is one thing. People have a very tough time admitting that they're not doing well, or that they're the straggler in a certain situation, and just handing off like the picks and stuff to their teammates that are doing well to try and help them do better. So this guy, I still respect him for this. If he had a bad game, he would just bait himself for anyone that was doing well. Like he did not care about his stats. He would just like run out and just play for the team, which I respected. He still wasn't very good, but I didn't mind because he was doing that. Like that's the thing. If you're doing bad and you're helping the team in a different way, that's fine. You're still doing your job.
Yeah,
Um,
my best Halo team wasn't even like a team like the best skill players.
mhm,
We just all like knew like what to do, and
mhm.
none of us were like, "What the fuck, man?" Like we were all just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Hey, man, you had a bad game. That's alright. You'll bounce back next game."
right,
We just
right,
kept going.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, like it was just two 30-year-olds that somehow hadn't gained any experience from all that time playing 1.6. One of them was cool, other one was a meathead, and just would not listen to like anything, and just had a huge ego, but there was nothing to back up the ego at all. Like he would literally just show up like blazed out of his mind every single day, and or every single scrim, every single match, like, and he was just horrible. And and then they had another guy on that team as well who was even worse, who was around my age and Tame's age, kind of. I guess he was kind of in between us. And I actually saw, originally I thought he had a little bit of potential, so I tried to help him, and like he would just, like we were talking about earlier, he would just blame anything but himself, so he would just kind of plateau and just not really improve. But yeah, that was a big mistake just for the whole thing, because I mean, me and Archibald were kind of able to try and duo carry, but like it wasn't a fun time. It was just like a struggle, because if we didn't do well, like really well, we just had no chance.
Yeah, I watched your matches. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, like it was not good. Like I had to. There was 2 matches where I had to drop 30 for us to like even have a chance of winning, and that was in like normal time too, like no OT.
Yeah,
and it was still like it was a clinched win. Like it was like a 16-14 win, and I had to like ace twice or something, like, you know, like clutch ace, and we won. And like I would win it, and I would just not feel good. I'd just be like, God, thank God that's over. I'm going to bed. Like didn't feel good about it. I would tweet. I tweeted both times it happens. I was like, drop 30. It was kind of cool. See you later. I'm going to bed. Like,
and I'll be like.
Like I was just so, it was so bad. Like, and that's like those games that I was just going insanely hard were probably some of the best games that I've played so far. Obviously, it was against like worse players, but like I'm a player that doesn't really like, I don't really hunt frags or like try to pop off. Yeah. I just,
once you're in a team, you're honestly like, you can't carry a team. Like, honest to God, you can't like. But once you're like in a organized team, you're really good.
Right. Like, yeah, and it was just like, I don't know. I've slowly, that season actually kind of helped me realize more that like I have the raw skill if I just have the confidence to use it. But all the way, like back in the day, I just kind of wouldn't try and go for anything risky. Like I would just play very safe, and that kind of hurt my stats. But
yeah, I feel you.
Oh well. You know.
So that's like an hour of CS. So, unless you want to talk anything more on your mind, because that was like that team that Yasha coached. That was the last time I really played CS.
Yeah.
So now me and Yasha kind of just stick around.
Yeah.
Be honest now.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, we played a little bit of CS, like just some matchmaking. Like
I want to get back into it, but I want to wait until I get my my GPU so I can hella frag.
Yeah.
However, speaking of BRs, I want to talk about the game that no one talks about anymore, which is the best BR ever made so far. I was a 9. That fucking video game.
Oh, dude.
How long did it last? Not even 6 months. There's no way.
It didn't. It literally lasted as long as the streamers were saying good things about it. That's a whole nother topic that I won't go too deep into, but like I hate when streamers don't realize that their voice like matters, in the sense that if they shit on a game and they have a very large following, usually their viewers aren't smart enough to have their own opinion for the most part. Like, hot take, you know, but
because people like who don't buy every game will go on Twitch, look at streams, watch a streamer play, and the entire time the streamer's like, man, this game is not being updated, and didn't fix A, B, and C, D. You're not gonna spend money and put time into it,
right? Unless you had previous interest. Like that's the only that's pretty much why a lot of really good games that start out kind of by indie companies die instantly, because it's like either they're like way too skill based and kind of casual players don't feel like they have like a space in the game, or it's just like streamers just absolutely dogging games. Like for example, like Battalion. Like I know
we talked about
you're not the biggest
we
fan.
Talked about Battalion on the last podcast.
But like I still do truly believe that like the devs have good heads on their shoulders, but like there was so many streamers that kind of entered into the game and didn't realize what they were playing. Like they thought they were playing a polished game or what was supposed to be a polished
Because
game.
I think Fortnite was still like going strong
Yeah.
during
Mm-hmm.
this, which that was
And
like season 3 of Fortnite,
mm-hmm.
which is honestly a really good season
Yeah,
overall for
we
Fortnite.
were still playing that. We were having a good time.
So like going up against that
Yeah.
was hard. I think they were overwhelmed.
Right.
There was
Yeah.
a lot of expectations.
Right. It was just a shame. Not because like I don't think the game was perfect, but it was good. It was good for the state it was in.
The
like
core
compared
gameplay
to,
is the most polished
yeah.
out of any VR. Even
Right.
more, I think Apex is a close second,
Yeah.
but in terms of just everyone's on a level playing field,
Hmm.
it's always a 9 by a mile.
Yeah. It was really good. I really liked like the recoil and like, you know, there wasn't that much randomness. It didn't really feel like you got just I don't like that. That's something that reminds me actually is an Apex right now, like the Peacekeeper meta. Like, you know, you do like no damage to people with it, and then some random guy just like flies across your screen and just dumps on you, and you're like, wait, why does my gun not do that?
And
Like,
every fight in Apex is within like 5 feet of you.
mm-hmm.
And I was a 9. Sniping was viable. You can piece
Right.
kids across the map.
Mm-hmm.
You can fight kids close quarters.
Yep. And if you had good recoil control, which you know we were kind of getting towards the end there, like you could map kids with an AR full auto, like.
The movement allowed escapability. You can escape
Mhm.
fights and re-engage.
Yep. And once in a while, you could jump in the air and AK Karma,
Yeah.
piss them off.
The one trophy banner to Yasha's name is
That was
shitting,
so-
absolutely shitting on Optic Karma.
It was so like the man. He had no idea what hit him. Like I just flew across his screen and just.
I baited, 100% baited.
Mhm. It was.
Yasha
that was
hit
really
him with
unfortunate.
that's why he got dropped.
Jesus, dude.
I got respect for him.
That was
He's a fucking dog.
He's a cool dude.
He's a
Yeah.
dog in every game he plays.
Yeah,
But,
he's sick. No, that was just. It was funny the reaction. I don't like hate him or anything. He's a cool dude and he has talent. But it was just so funny the reaction because it was exactly what I would react if something like that happened to me. Like,
He's like,
just
what
like,
the
dude, this guy
fuck?
flew
This
through the
kid
air.
just-
What
this
the
kid
fuck
just-
was that?
I can't do it. I couldn't do anything. And he got like first. Like, we won because of it or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That shit was so funny, dude. That was great. Yeah,
but I wish it was still around, man.
dude. I'm telling you, if they just made it free to play like before they were forced to, it might have worked out. Like,
Because it's gone. It's gone, right?
yeah,
You
no,
can't-
they completely no. It's free to play now, but like nobody plays it. It's still in the same. It's at the point where like you know they did it such that people that had bought the game were mad because they paid for the game, which that's a whole nother topic as well. I don't understand why people pay for games, have a lot of fun with the game, and then get mad that it goes free to play later on down the road. Like
you enjoying it.
yeah, you got your money's worth. Like
and help them make it.
Right.
Let other people like
Right.
you're literally funding the game.
mhm,
They made it polished enough
Exactly.
where it could go free to play and make
right.
it more.
And it's like
better game.
here's the like real life philosophy, right? Do you go to a concert and you're like, wow, that was really sick, I had a great time, and then like they do a free concert to like help like breast cancer or something, you're like, man, that was free, dude, I paid like $50 for my ticket last week, like what the fuck, man? Like,
Or it's more like
just-
if you buy a concert ticket, they're like, hey, we're gonna premiere a song right now. No one else has ever heard. Not in release right now. They perform the song and then put it on streaming the next week.
yeah,
Like you're
it's
not gonna be like, oh, that's bullshit. I thought it was just for me. I
like
know.
dude,
People are so entitled. I don't give a
yeah,
fuck.
it's crazy, man. It's really wild. And
You're entitled, Mr. Viewer.
it's that shit, it blows my mind. It's everywhere. Any game that goes free to play, it's just like, well, I paid $30. Like what?
Free to play is the wave. Like honest to God, like handle microtransactions, but people
Yeah.
developers are making more money on
Mhm.
games through microtransactions.
Right.
Because if you want to spend $20 on a race skin, you can't.
hmm
If you're not going to, that's fine. Any other people are going to.
Right. And like I also I have to give a nod to Apex as well. Is the way that they've done it is like the loot boxes especially. It's actually worth to buy cases because like you're gonna get cool stuff and there's
Something.
no dupes.
You're gonna get something.
Yeah,
You may not like it.
right. But you're gonna get something like decent for like by now I have all the like the pink rarity skins pretty much on like each gun, and I don't really use all the guns. I mainly just use the wingman.
That's,
But
I mean, so does
yeah,
literally everyone else. So
yeah. And dude, I don't know why people think it's OP, man.
it
It's really like it's
it
good.
shoots too fast.
Yeah,
Like
but
it shoots too fast. The rate of fire, tone that down, you're good.
I think it shoots too fast, but like it has inaccuracy when you're shooting like as fast as you possibly can. You know?
I'm just saying, like, if there's some clips where I'm hitting, I'm like, he had absolutely no chance. Like,
Dude,
he had gold armor, he had like everything he needed, and he
yeah.
had no chance.
Dude, I just like I don't know, man. I don't feel like I fight that many people that like shit on me with the wingman. I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky, but like I feel like I get dumped on consistently by the peacekeeper no matter what player I'm playing against, but the wingman I can usually out movement them and like I don't feel like I got fucked.
I do think the game needs to go away from shotgun meta. I do think it needs to
Yeah.
get away from that and more rifle meta. Because the
Yeah.
carbine is so much fun to use,
Mm.
but like
I
it's not valuable when someone rolls up on you.
yeah. You're right. I'm not how do you feel about the mags situation? Like where there's a lot of guns that you need a mag for or
Oh,
else like you're gonna whiff half your bullets and then just lose the fight. Like
every gun
yeah.
isn't viable until you get a mag on it.
Yeah.
Especially the light ammo guns.
The R99, man. There's so many
Isn't
times.
the default clip like 18 for an SMG?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah. It's
insane.
18 on the carbine and 18 on the R99 and it's wild,
Which
dude.
is
I don't
fine early game. Yeah, if you don't find it's early game, it's fine. But once you're like halfway through,
yeah.
any fight you take isn't gonna work out.
It's just not it. It's crazy.
I was a 9. You find a gun. You can keep
Yep.
that gun
It has 30.
the entire time, and you're fine.
Hmm. That's another thing. That's another reason I use the wingman so much is like I feel like it's viable off rip, and I don't have to go look for stuff. Like it's nice to have other stuff, but I feel like I can win every gunfight with a
Shit,
default
it's
wingman.
40 to the head, even without
Yeah,
piercing.
yeah. No, it's like 90, isn't it?
To the head without piercing?
I think so.
It might be
Or
70.
maybe
It might,
not.
it might be 70 to the head, and then 90 with piercing,
It could be. Yeah.
which is 2 shots
I
and they're dead.
right. It's it feels so nice just like mapping people with that thing, dude. It's so fun. I hope that if they do nerf it, like I hope it's like a subtle nerf. It's not just like oh, you can't use this gun anymore because that thing's like so fun just to chill and just like zoom around with.
It's the only gun that you can get long range kills with,
Yeah.
and it's a pistol.
Yeah. There's like no damage drop off, I'm pretty sure. That's something they could do. They
And
could
there's
make the drop
not,
off a
but
little more.
like the sniping, you hit someone and then they sprint behind anything and heal.
Dude, the Kraber, man. That thing is nice if you insta down someone. If you don't, that bolt time, you're not finding him again. Like he's gone.
Or even if you knock them,
Yeah.
they get
You're
res.
probably not gonna finish him.
They
Yeah.
get res immediately.
It's so AIDS, dude.
I was a 9. You killed you not you
Yeah.
you fucking killed them.
Yep. That's the thing. I feel in Apex I'm okay with it. I actually don't mind knocks. I would be interested to see like what like a solo game mode would be like, just like maybe as like a limited time mode or something, just to test it. Because like I like that they kind of countered the down I'm gonna just thirst you meta, where it's just so tilting when like some dude just runs up on you, finishes you, and you're just like, oh, I'm out of the game. But now you can just
I
tag
just don't
up.
know how they would do a solo mode. Like honestly.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
when they still like when you still get knocked down, but you can like somehow respawn or
I would almost say you would just insta kill, like, because that's how most solo modes are in BRs, right? Like, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any
but
that would.
they're gonna do something weird. They have to.
Yeah, they probably. You know what would actually work is if you have the yellow shield, then you can revive yourself.
So only have yellow shields
Like the
because
down
the
shield. Yeah, yeah.
other shields would be useless.
Right, right. But I don't know. They could do it. They've done a good job so far, I think.
All right, let's get off the video gamers for a second. And I believe you're for people that don't know, your Twitter Avi has been a squid for the past 6 years.
It has, yeah.
For as long as I've known you.
Yep.
And to be honest, I don't really know why.
You know, like I don't have like
there
a.
is a squid behind you.
Mm-hmm. Like right
Like
there.
like if you had a brand, it would be a squid.
Mm-hmm. It's so. I always get asked this, like they're like, are you like into like tentacle porn? And I'm like, no, like not at all. It has nothing to do with sexual anything. But I don't have a definitive answer other than back when I was still into trickshotting, I used to watch a lot of Banks's videos, and he'd just like say random shit. Like he'd be like, "What's up, you squid rat fucks?" And I just thought that was like just so like random and just goofy. Like I was just like, huh. So he would just call people squids, and I just thought that was funny. So I kind of picked up on it, and I don't know. I just kind of ran with it. I don't even remember where I got my first like idea to have like a picture. Like I still have the logo. It's my main logo. I even have like an intro of it with like it's like the Club Penguin like octopus. Like it's not really a squid, but
is
like
that where it's from? It's from Club Penguin.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone asked me like a long time ago, and I was like, oh wait, maybe that. I had a friend named Leo, and he was just like, hey dude, he did like graphics and he edited a bit, and he was like, hey man, like you want me to make you like a logo? Because obviously everyone had logos, and I was like, what would my logo be? And people had like just random things in their trick shot logos, right? And he was like, hey, like you want me to make you one? I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, what do you want me to do on it? A squid? And I'm like, yeah, actually, that'd be cool. And I just kind of gave him free reign. I was like, hey, just do whatever. And so he gave me that. And a lot of people actually don't, if you look closely, or if you don't look closely, it just looks like a picture of just like the squid or octopus, whatever it is. But if you look closely, there's a little pink like squid character in the back, like in the water. And then just lightly it says flicker like under it. That you don't really see unless you like look really close or like zoom it in, which I don't mind. I think that's cool. And it has like the little pink squid. And then I had another friend, Casper, who was like really, really good at graphics work. Like, you know, he was into like modeling and stuff like that. And he was just trying to get better. And he was like, hey dude, I'm gonna make you like a full like rebrand for like YouTube and stuff. You down? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like for free? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, okay. Like, damn. And this was I was like 14, you know, so it wasn't like I had money anyways. So, and he's like, yeah, I'll make it for you. And so he made me the picture that's on my Twitter, which I cut down because I couldn't get like a special like, you know, Twitter picture version of it. But the full version of it is, at least for YouTube, is like the two eyes are the eyes of the squid. So like the squid is behind where it says flicker, and then the two eyes are like his eyes. So that's pretty sick. And then the Twitter one, it has the squid and then it says flicker underneath, but I just cut that off and it's just the little picture. But
which is doesn't relate to your name at all.
No.
Something I forgot to ask Kevin was how he got his name, but and I'm gonna ask that to every guest. I should probably add that to the doc. But how did you get your name? I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, you have a good idea. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know that I don't really tell that many people. Is I so I originally had a really bad, like really bad. I originally so
Like
my
inappropriate or just like
no.
terrible?
It was just trash. Like it just looked horrible and sounded horrible. Um, but my uncle, who originally kind of got me into video games, his Steam was just his name with a dot in the middle, like first name dot last name. Um, and then like the actual display name was just put together, like there was no dot. And so me being like a young kid, I was just like, oh, I'll just do what he did. So my name was just Yasha Meyer for a little bit. So like before you were able to change your alias on Minecraft, like you remember how my name was just Yasha Meyer, and you're like, why is your name just your name? And I was like, I don't know, I just had it. So that was where that came from. But now I changed it to my actual alias. But um, yeah, so I had that, and then I got into trickshotting. So everybody had just like weird names with like capital letters and stuff. So I decided that it would be a sick idea to make my name Raze, like Raze,
So
like
phase.
phase, and it was like capitalized and lowercase the exact same way. Now that was only for like maybe less than like 6 months, and then I realized, yeah, this is pretty trash. Like I need a new one. And it was actually how like trick shot episodes, like everybody would have their name and it would like go into their like episode name, like
Yeah.
for example, like Banks has bank or something, like that. And so I was like, yeah, there's nothing that would go with Rays. This name's really trash. Like I need to change it. Uh, and so I just came up with Flickr because everybody was misspelling their names. Like nobody had like the OG, like
It
whatever.
wasn't cool to spell it
Yeah.
correctly.
So I just spelled mine Flickr just with two I's and like a little bit like no E and no C as well. And I I just like I wanted to make my episode name like Flickering Lights or some bullshit, like really bad. And like we were talking about, like I never actually made like a
Yeah.
full, like I never actually released an episode. I just had a bunch of clips that I never got edited, which uh, was also kind of a funny story. TLDR, like I joined this team and I had all these clips. Leader was like, "Hey, dude, send me your clips. I'm gonna get them edited and we'll make an intro for you on our channel." I'm like, "All right, cool. Here's the clips." And he's like, "All right, cool. I'll get them edited." Never got them edited, and then cut me from the team because of inactivity. When he literally said, "I'll find the editor for you," and I gave him the clips, and then I got kicked for inactivity. So
Nice.
that was a yikes. But this was like young kids, so.
Dude, everyone started up org when they were 14.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be Optic Gaming.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it was just that, and then once I got into CS, I didn't want it to be like some bullshit like flickering lights trash. So I was really good at flicking, so I just picked it up as I flick to people's heads really well, and that's why my name's Flicker.
I mean, I like it, but I didn't realize how so many other people have a variation of it.
Yeah,
It's very common.
like
It's a
yeah,
very common name.
it's the nice thing is though that nobody has it spelled like mine, so I get it
Yeah.
on every platform. So it's like just anything you could think of that I would have like gaming related, it's just Flickr, except for my Microsoft, which I finessed my own OG Flickr account from myself. Like I forgot the email, I forgot the password, everything. And then I found it recently, but you have to pay like $20 to like change your tag again. So I was just gonna switch. So on my account that I have like Forza and stuff on PC, my name is just Flickerino because that's like the closest thing I could get. Um, and like it's kind of like just a meme name. Like the I
Yeah.
after
It's
Flickr is
pretty
also
funny.
lowercase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, so I was just gonna swap them, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna just go swap it. Is it free? No, you have to spend $20 to switch them. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I only play Forza on this. Like, there's no need for me to have my OG name. It's fine. Like, it's close enough, and it's kind of funny. Like, I don't really care. But everything else, I was able to get it OG, which is nice.
Yeah, that's honestly a better story than I thought it would be. I think like
Yeah.
I like trick shotting, so I flick shots.
Oh, that's what you. No, 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 no.
That was
I
better.
just,
That was better than I thought it would be. So I'm kind of
yeah.
happy.
It
But
was it was just a trash episode attempt name.
all right. And the last topic I want to go over with each of my guests is just music shit. Just
Hmm.
overall, just because me and you have slightly similar music tastes, I
Yeah.
guess.
I think it's actually probably more similar than you think,
Really.
but like I don't know. There's music that I like, and then there's music that I playlist, which is like very specific. Like I like to only playlist stuff that I will like not ever get tired of listening to, you know? So like there's music that I like, but I just don't really want to hear it 24/7, or like if I'm streaming and I'm just playing my playlist, like I don't want to have to skip through songs 24/7.
So what do
So
you normally listen to like in your playlist? Like
it's like I'd say probably 85% rap or like some variation of it, or like just beats. Um so, like, and then there, there's a little bit sprinkled in there, like, like kind of alternative or like indie type stuff, but it's mainly rap and like kind of like underground type stuff. No edgy, I promise. A little bit edgy, but like, I'm not like, oh, it needs to stay underground. Our artists don't deserve recognition. They need to be ours.
I hate that. Like
It's
you ever go to like a music video and they comment, "Oh,
mhm.
I hope you don't blow up when you're just to myself."
Yeah,
I hate
it
those.
blows
Those
my mind.
creep me out. They honestly creep
Yeah,
me out.
no, it blows my mind because it's like there's people that say it in a good way and it makes sense. Like I understand where they're coming from, where they're like, oh, like, I like that I can put you on, to my friends, and like they don't know about them, and then they like you now,
Like you're helping them get more popular.
right, right. And like you just kind of miss the days where like, you want it to be kind of that thing where you can bring it to your friends and they enjoy it, and it's like a new thing that they have never heard of. Whereas like, once you blow up, they've probably heard of you by now, and like it's not that kind of like special moment where you're like, hey Tom, like check out Suicide Boys, they're sick. Like,
No one has
like
ever
not,
talked about Suicide Boys like that.
no, dude, you'd be surprised. Like the amount of white people that listen to like general like underground music is crazy. Like if you go to one of their shows, it's just always
I
like
mean,
white people.
I've seen videos. There's not a single
Yeah,
ethnic person.
yeah, no,
Not
it's
don't
like see
don't ban me.
see all of us that like fuck with their music. I don't know. I feel like, at least for me personally, I don't think it's me being an African American individual that has to do with anything. But like, I'm not really a concert person. Like, I can really fuck with someone's music, but I'm just not really the type of person that will like go somewhere and like dance.
It's a whole different experience than listening to it. Which
Yeah,
I can tell it's intimate. It's honestly like intimidating. I would rather
yeah,
listen to the music at home.
mm,
However, I do like
right,
going to concerts.
yeah. I mean, I'll probably go at some point in my life to someone. Like, I really wanted to go see Pete before he passed, and like I was gonna go with Anton, actually, who is my best friend. For those that
Should
don't
I
know.
get Anton on the podcast? Me and
Oh my
me and
god,
Anton are never talked one on one.
dude, that'd be so
We
funny.
never talked. I don't know
I would love that.
shit about Anton.
You could learn a lot about him,
I
actually.
know that's why I want
Yeah,
to do
that
it.
would be sick, actually. I think he would probably be down. You just have to like really get him to talk.
Does he have a webcam?
Uh, he could probably. I think he has one on like his laptop or something. He could probably just use that.
All right.
But yeah, like I was gonna go with him because I kind of put him onto like the boys and Pete, and he fucks them. It's not like he's not like huge like into them, but he likes their music. whenever I like play it in the car. Which there's a running joke between us that I'm the Yasha taxi service because I'm the one with the car, and if he needs to go somewhere and he can't like Uber there or like bus there, like he's just like, hey dude, so you want to hang out? And there's always that like, but I need to go somewhere, and it's just like it's just this running like meme where we just do that. And yeah, so the Yasha taxi service playlist is heavily like Peep and Night
Is
and the
that is that is
Boys.
that what it's called? In your Spotify? Is it?
No.
I was just
But that would be funny.
if you're an actual
I should do
playlist,
that.
you're just like,
Yeah, yeah. No, see, the thing is, like, I download most of my music, like through like SoundCloud or like if it's on SoundCloud, I mean,
excuse me, sorry.
so that I can like put it just on my PC somewhere, just so I don't have to deal with like offline problems or whatnot.
Hmm.
And so like I'll transfer that into iTunes to put it on my phone, but like it's not like the official downloaded off iTunes stuff. So like it doesn't have the album art, which doesn't really bother me. I don't really look at it, but it's like it just looks so sketchy if you look at my playlist because it's all just like unknown album, unknown artist, and then like it has like the names like as the how it would have like the name and then the artist underneath it in the smaller text. It's just like the whole song name is just like Lil Peep, Star Shopping,
I mean,
like
I'm proud of
unknown
I
artist.
used to pirate music, so
Yeah,
I know the
it's like
feeling.
yeah, it's like it's the same shit. And I mean, like I don't know, most of the shit that I download isn't really like I don't want to like pirate their shit, but some of it's like just free anyways, or like they put it on a free platform for the most part.
Which
That's
is
like
super dope, honestly.
yeah, which is
Like
which is sick.
artists don't even have to do that, but the
Yeah.
fact that they do it is
Yeah,
much love, much respect. As
it's
always.
great. I love it. And at the same time though, like I'll look at it and be like, damn, like you could be really making money, and people still buy it, which is crazy. I think that's hella cool that it's like free, but people are still like, I'm gonna give you money even though I could just get this for free.
Yeah,
Just
I fucking collect vinyls, so
yeah. Like I just think that's cool. Like I have Come Over When You're Sober too on vinyl, which
ooh,
it's we won't get into that whole topic. But I mainly just got it, and I got like the hoodie as well.
that's dope.
I got it just kind of as like a last like hurrah to like support him, even though there's a lot of financial stuff that isn't really sound. But
That's a whole different kind of podcast.
yeah, that's a whole podcast that I'd be more than happy to go over that.
Me and
but
Kev touched upon it last
yeah,
podcast a little bit,
mhm,
but different.
yeah, it's a yikes, but
The
we won't go into that.
There's like 3 artists that I think you introduced me to, which I don't know
Mhm,
if you know that, but definitely the boys,
mhm,
Night Novell, definitely
mhm.
one of my favorite rappers
Yeah,
overall.
he's nuts.
And I don't know if you know this, but K Flay.
Yeah, yeah,
You showed me K Flay, and she's like
mhm.
one of my favorite
Yeah. I
alternative.
she
Cause she could fucking rap too.
yeah. She
Her old
I
stuff.
when I was still like in like trick shotting and such, like I was really into like EDM mainly. Like that was kind of all I listened to. And it actually kind of shaped like how I kind of listen to music now. Like I'm very heavily into beats. Like if your vocals are like pretty decent, like they don't have to be nutty as long as they're not trash and you have a fire ass beat, like I'll probably fuck with it. Like and that kind of comes from the fact that a lot of the music I was listening to was just beats or it was like a little bit of melodic like vocals, but you know how EDM is. It's kind of just like clipped voices a lot of the time. It's not
It's like
really like
say like samples more like.
yeah, it's just like samples like of random like voice clips and it sounds cool. Um and yeah, like I came across a K-Flay song in like a COD edit of some sort, and it was like really well edited. I think it was FaZe Barker actually, who he's insane. Anyone that's into editing, he's insanely talented, and he's been recognized for it, but like he needs more recognition still. He's nuts. Um, but yeah, I came across her, and yeah, she's pretty sick, man. Like she I had a friend in high school who like I randomly found out that was into her, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like
Cause she's like
I've
not
heard of her.
very. She's like right now kind of getting popular, but I would
Mhm.
still we consider her not very
Yeah,
out there.
people don't know that much about. I've seen her music on like a couple like commercials and such, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Blood in the Cut blew up, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it was very like short,
I remember that. Yeah, it
which
was.
honestly is like one of my like not very favorite songs by her.
Yeah, it was cool, but like it was. I wasn't in like a COD trailer or something. I'm pretty sure it was a COD trailer.
It
Yeah,
sounds about right.
yeah. But yeah, she's sick. That's interesting. I didn't.
Cause you showed me, um, it was right when "Fuck My Life" with Vanek.
Mm,
The Vanek remix
mhm,
came out,
yep, yep.
and like I fuck with the Vanek remix, but I was like,
Mhm,
man, this girl kind of has pipes. And
yeah,
I love like going into like Spotify, like clicking on people's names and like
right.
who are like features and stuff.
Hmm,
And I found like her Life as a Dog album,
right.
and that shit fucking can't sleep and make me fade.
I saw all of those songs actually. I saw in COD edits, and like they're just so sick to edit to because there's just so much going on, like both vocals and like actual just beat. So it's really sick. I That's another thing that I see in music a lot is I'll find songs that I don't even playlist. I just have actually, well, I put them in a playlist, but I have a playlist separately in my Groove, which is like what I use for all the music, which is it's kind of like an AIDS thing, but it's nice because you can use media keys with it, so you can just pause it instantly.
Ooh.
Um, and I have like a separate little playlist for like editing songs. So I'll just hear a song and I'm like,
Dude.
oh my god, like I could edit to this,
Dude,
and
and
I
shit,
never do
dude,
it.
I barely edit, but like I'm listening to a song and like in my head
Yeah.
I'm like syncing up like
Hmm.
op shots and
Yep.
flashbangs. I'm like in my head I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go home, do this, and then I get home like,
Yeah. Do you remember my my frag movie, like the
hmm,
actual one
the
that I
one.
made for like school?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna talk
Yeah.
about that, but I forgot. You should, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely talk about that. That's
All
so
right.
dope.
Yeah, I'll bring that up. I'll first explain though, like the two songs that I used in that, I had been waiting like 2 years to use in something.
Cause I remember you telling me about that like right when I first
Hmm.
met you, like right when
Right.
like we first started talking,
Hmm.
and I was like, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and like I I looking back on it, like I really wish I'd had a little bit more, I guess, motivation or like experience. Less than motivation. I feel like I was very motivated to do it because it was like a lot of my friends were hyped to see it because there was some really old clips in there, like from before I had met a lot of people. Um, and then there's the clip with Luke, the op clip where like I was against him in a pug or something. Like
Oh,
it was before they added the non like buddy system, so you had to buddy with people.
I hated that.
And we didn't buddy at the right time, and so we were against each other, and I like aced him. And you can faintly hear it if you listen to the actual clip. You can hear him go like, "Oh, come on, guys!" And I like drop CT and just dumpster him, and he's like, "Oh my god."
Before you keep going, I was going through my old Twitch clips.
Hmm.
There's a clip of me 1v4ing Ben's team in a bug. In the very beginning, you can hear his voice go,
Yeah.
"Come on, guys."
That's funny to hear from Ben, dude, because Ben, like, he's calmed, like, he's chilled out a lot more than those days. Like, he was already chill, but like now he's just kind of easygoing, like he doesn't really care that much
Right.
about that kind of shit. That's funny. That's cute.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. That's something that I need to do better. I really need CS to or Valve rather, to just add a better demo system because I would bang out so much stuff. You have no idea. The only thing that stops me is like, dude, if I could show you, like, if I had been able to record my entire editing process and recording process of that video, like, there's not that many effects on it or anything because I didn't really want to overdo it with stuff that I didn't understand.
I hate
So I just wanted it.
CS is one game where I hate over editing.
Yeah. No, I've always been someone that with CS or like any competitive shooter, I want like minimal editing, but a little like flash, you know, like where it helps kind of, I guess, like marinate the clips is a weird way to put it, but you know,
I
like
get it. I get it.
it makes it better, but like it's not like overpowering anything, and it's like, you know, and I was still kind of learning, and I didn't want to be. There's nothing I hate more than people that just try and just spam as many effects as they can to be like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
The one
And
person that does it well is Nikki, but that's not even remotely
yeah, that's
fair.
like a whole different thing. Like and I just didn't want it to be like too wild, and so I just decided that I was just going to do a couple, you know, like clean transitions and just otherwise leave it kind of chill. And I remember there was like a comment on that video that might still be there where there's a guy that's like, hey, because I posted it to Reddit. That was like one of the only videos that I've ever posted to Reddit because I don't want to be one of those like self-promoting guys. But I posted that because I was really proud of it, and like this guy commented on it because I said, please give me any criticism because I'm going to keep doing this. And then I never did from then on because it was such a painstaking process. But
Because you can't go back in demos. You
yeah,
literally
mm,
it won't let you.
yeah,
Anyway,
and it's even worse with HLA, like when you try and do all like cinematics and such. Uh, and yeah, like there was a guy that was like, hey man, like, you know, if you added some color correction and you added a lot more effects, this would have been a lot better. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to overdo it and ruin the whole video. And you know, I look at it back at it now as just like a good memory, and like a lot of there's a lot of stuff behind that, like in terms of like, I guess my mental state at the time, where like I was being told by like my girlfriend at the time, who was like very very bipolar with that kind of stuff, where like she was really supportive of my competing for a while and like what I wanted to do and understood, and then other times she'd just go off and be like, you're wasting your time, like you're not going to do anything with this. And like my teacher like would say the same type of shit and be like, oh, have you ever considered maybe a more traditional route? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about
because
traditional. Like,
I don't think you mentioned that was like your senior
yeah,
project.
it was my senior project at school. That was my final like ending project, and I did it like just almost entirely because one, obviously it's like a big part of my life, uh, and also because I kind of wanted to show that I could do something school related, but still put passion, you know, something that I'm actually passionate about, because I hated school. It was just a waste of my time, I felt like. And
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wanted to be like, hey, like, this is what I actually care about, and this is what it means when I like actually put a lot of effort into it. And, you know, the only people that really understood all the effort and like, you know, time that I put in were people that were in the gaming community or editing community that like understood all the time and you know, stuff with all the back end stuff of CS. And it's a boneyard of just bullshit to record a single clip. Like I remember I tried to record one singular clip, which it ended up being bugged but kind of looked cool in the ending video. It was our team. It was the like FAMAS clip on Train. I don't know if you remember it.
That was when we played fucking it was like the ex Premier player. Like that was like the
Hmm.
best team we've ever played against.
Yeah,
We destroyed the fuck out of them.
yeah, and
Because I'm the best trained IGL of all time.
and dude, that clip, I wanted to do all kinds of cool shit because there was a lot of cool like movement between us, like just our whole team, like, and I wanted to do a cool like fast transition where I kind of like zoomed in between the trains to each player, kind of showing positioning and like where the T's were coming up. And I worked so hard on that. I literally took 1 week on that exact clip, and at the end of it, I had nothing to show for it because it just like corrupted and was like sped up. The sound was completely gone, which that's why a lot of editors now like Very, I don't know if you've heard of him, VIRRE. He's like a nuts editor for CS. He edits like all the majors. Like he'll do like recaps. He and pretty much every other editor that edits CS now that makes frag movies, they just do their own audio. They have audio like sound files for everything, and they just lay it over because there's times where everything else will record fine, but the audio will just bug because since you have to record it at a slower frame rate and then speed it up in post to have like higher frame rate, like 240, and have clean transitions and, you know, whatever slow mo. it just removes your sound sometimes. And I didn't have all of those files, and I didn't really want to put that much time into just that because I was kind of giving up on a deadline. And so I just decided, well, just going to have to do the clip normally. And then, it kind of, there was like a little bug in it that ended up looking cool.
It's still
That
good.
is like barely noticeable.
It's still a good clip though.
Yeah.
Even without the effects.
Yeah. It was fun to edit, and like I really want to make more, but it's just so, I'm just waiting for another game that I actually enjoy playing and like, can grind out. Like if Apex added any type of replay system, or actually R6 is saying that they were working on it, so that'd be cool. Just so that I can work more on my editing than just recording clips, because
I don't want to like bring out like my own shit,
Yeah.
but this is the same guy that did my aliens highlights. So
Yeah.
I don't really know how your process was for that. I don't know, like, because you did do like more creative stuff with that.
Yeah. That's a lot
It's
easier.
a whole different kind of
Yeah, but it's a lot easier purely because you already gave me the content. Like there's no like recording process. The annoying part of CS editing is the recording process, because everything can go wrong. It doesn't matter what. Like, and I'm one of those people that doesn't want to just edit random clips, because there's plenty of like files all over the internet of just like CS editable clips .mp4, and I could learn on those, but I want to make it of my own stuff so that I can look back on it in a lot of years and be like, oh, like I worked really hard on this and this is me. Like, rather than, oh, I worked really hard on this is just some randy like dude that I've never met in my entire life. Like, it would probably be different if it was like a friend of mine that had already put the clips together. But on the top of that, I like to make my own like cinematics and kind of tell my own story rather than just take cookie cutter clips, which you can still do. Like for example, FaZe Mito, like he'll do these like X hour challenges, and he'll just give you clips, and then people will make a lot of cool stuff and just like kind of cut it together in different ways, and it still tells a different story, but I just want it to be entirely unique. So that's kind of why I'm waiting for some form of demo update. But at the same time, I have so many OG demos that I want to use that would get corrupted if they update that. So
Yeah.
I have to do something about that.
All right. So we've been going for almost about 2 hours. Believe it or not. So
It's been a while.
We'll want to do. There's still some topics on here that I want to talk about with you. We'll have to do another part 2 or another part. But anything you want to say? Get out the way before we call it here.
No, I mean, I hope it was interesting. It's a lot of time to watch, so I'm not sure like who will be this interested to watch through like 2 hours of me bullshitting, but I mean, it was fun. I feel like we learned more about each other, more so I guess about myself because you're asking the questions, but
I mean, I feel like it was more. It was a lot of back and forth. I feel like still.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Like I like interview type like deals. I like explaining stuff. So it was a good time. We can definitely do another one for sure.
This is being recorded. Like, it's getting you a time frame. The one with Kevin isn't even out yet. So hopefully people like these longer length ones. So,
they're just gonna be like, yeah, this is a little too long. You're like, yeah, so sorry, this idiot. 2 hours. Have fun, boys.
Anyway,
but yeah, thanks for having me on. It was fun.
We're about to do it again later. But all his Twitter link is underneath his face, and it'll be in the description. And that was Dinger number 3 with Yasha Flickermeyer. Thank you so much.